Hi, I'm Signet Brown. I'm the author of the Locket Saga series. For the past 10 years, I have been participating in NaNoWriMo, and this year I've decided to do something a little different. This year I have decided that I want to help you reach your goal of reaching 50,000K by the end of November. Now, I have a confession to make. I am not really good at this. I'm very new to this, as you can probably tell. Um, Not to writing, I mean to the video thing. So please bear with me. During the next 30 days, I hope to get a lot better at this. My goal is to every day share a little something of what I've learned over the past 10 years about writing not writing the first draft for NaNoWriMo. Um, so let's get started on the actual project here, okay? Um, first decide on your genre. Okay, you might choose. Maybe you're going to choose the genre of fantasy. Okay, and I suggest doing just one, especially in your first earlier books, because it just kind of makes sense. Okay. Try to get good at doing one thing, okay, rather than trying to do 100 different things or trying to experiment too much. You've only got 30 days, so let's just make it good, right? As good as you can. The other reason you want to do that is because, let's say you're looking for a plot line, okay, and it's like, okay, or a subplot. So you go ahead and you go to go and Google fantasy plot lines or fantasy storylines. And you go on there, and I tell you what, on that first page, because I did it today, that on that first page, there's hundreds on just that one page alone. So it just kind of makes sense to try to stick with one genre and try to, really hone in on what you're writing there, okay? The next thing I would do after figuring out genre is to go ahead and get out a Word document or a Google Docs and write the headings of chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, all the way down to 30. And kind of like it never works out this way for me anyway, but kind of this kind of gives you placement to put your information in. I just write what I know. Okay. I don't try to start from the beginning and try to write straight through. I write, okay, so I have an idea what the storyline is. So I kind of just fill that in. Okay. And then I will go to a certain place and I'll start writing what I know about that scene. Like, let's say there's a scene where a couple people were fighting. Okay. And so you write that scene, you start writing that scene. It's like, okay, so why did they do that? Why were they having this argument? You don't know this yet. You just know they had an argument. So you think, okay, well, why did they do that? Then you look back at what happened in previous. You look back at the person's profile, the backstory. You look at the backstory and say, okay, so you put in their backstory that they had this argument because he had killed a dog once of his, and he didn't like him, because of it. So that's what you put in there. So then anyway, so write down questions. When you're writing something, and you can't figure out not figure out. When you write down something, like before the next day, write down questions that you want to answer the next day. You might not have the information right then in your head, but you might have it the next day. Write down some ideas of things that you want to write about the next day. This really helps you get started. You're not just facing a blank sheet of paper or you don't have any ideas. You have some ideas because you probably slept on them and you figured out something overnight. But those questions are going to help you a lot in knowing what it is that you want to say. Another thing that people have problems with in writing is that they don't know how to type. And, though some of us are really good at typing, others are not. So you might, instead of uh, typing it, just type, peck and choose, try dictating it. Google Docs has that capability. You could use that, or do it on your phone. Make a document on document on your phone. Maybe like even in Facebook, you can do it yourself, and then when you get home to your computer, you can just copy and paste it into your document from Facebook or from an email or something that you dictated to yourself. Okay, or maybe whatever. Anyway, you can find creative ways to make that happen. Try to do as much as you can to do as many words as you can. Um, okay, and the other thing is, I don't think I said this yet, is to when you write your story, write it in chronological order. That's why the 30 chapters come in really handy, is because you're writing or you're trying to create order out of your own head. You know what I'm saying? It helps to um, write it down in chronological order so that you have an order. It's not going to be that way when you write the subsequent drafts, but that first draft is really helpful to write it so that you know how things happened, what order they happened in. It also helps you with timing, like with say if you got two people trying to be in the same place at the same time, you've got that chronological order so that you kind of know what happens, and then it helps you for those subsequent drafts too. Keep track of your progress every day. The average day is 1,667 a day. If you were to write it just 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, it would be 2,500 words per week. If you just wanted to do on the weekend, for those 2 days, it would be 12,500 every weekend. So, try to keep track of your word count. The best thing I would recommend to do is try to do it every day. Be consistent. Get up every morning or if that's when you do the best time is, do it every morning or do it every evening or do it every afternoon after you get home from work. Whatever works for you, just make sure that works. Okay. Try to get into the habit of writing every day. I hope you found something useful in some of the things that I've said today. Tomorrow, I'd like to discuss with you more about your main character, about describing your main character. So if you like what you heard today, or you want to find out, or you want to hear me tripping over my words tomorrow, go ahead and subscribe to the link below and click on the bell, and you can get the updates for the rest of the month. Well, it's been nice chatting with you, and happy writing.